Hej, tutaj Krzywa. To kolejny odcinek z serii Broken Sword. W poprzednim odcinku dotarliśmy do małej irlandzkiej wioski. Spotkaliśmy się z Kadem i, jakby to powiedzieć, zdobyliśmy klejnot, który został znaleziony w zamku. Mamy też latarkę. I mamy kranik, widzę, i możemy go użyć. Ja go teraz użyję. Ale potem nie biega się potrzebnie 3 razy. Dowiecie się czemu. I to moczymy. Rur nie widu, ni słychu. A to szczegół.
I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
Możemy iść na górę. Idziemy stąd, idziemy do zamku, który jest tutaj.
Hi, do you speak English?
Well, no. What if I was to say no? An implication of cognizance shrouded in denial. A pretty...
I gave him the look I'd perfected when I was 12 and was going to be the greatest. It was...
Are you attempting to hypnotize me, or is it...
I was... What can you tell me about the castle?
Not much, I'm sorry to say. Most of... but of these old stone stories to make your toes curl and your blood run cold.
W zamku można wejść po tym stogu siana, tylko on tu siedzi na nim. I za bardzo nie wejdziemy, kto on tu siedzi. Musimy go spławić do baru.
No, he's packed.
Do you happen to know where?
Back in England, I suppose.
Did you happen to see
I caught a glimpse of a flash of... Sure, it was an awful no...
A Ferrari.
A racing car! And what... A poor fella must have...
The driver of the Ferrari was involved.
Is that so?
Yeah. He knocked...
What an idiot! How could a thing like...
He was traveling too...
So fast, he ran right under the car.
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
Maybe you know the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is...
Oh, I know. That's me nephew. The idiot responsible for the stack. Was he killed?
Oh, no.
Well, that's a...
Aren't you going to look for your nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's...
Well, you could report the matter to the...
Better not. Besides, what...
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I put me money on the...
I think you ought to know exactly what's shown.
I'm not sure I...
But you're his uncle.
You're right, but what can I... If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to... What? A mob to stay here or to go... It'll need some...
Why...
You're right, build them.
You don't have to demolish the haystack to go look for
Dzieci będą chodzić po stogu siana na zamek.
Marvelous. I think I...
No i my wejdziemy oczywiście na górę.
He strode off in the direction of the... The stack of hay stopped, short of the top of the wall. Even if I stretched as far, what I needed was...
Tak, wiem jak to użyć. Tutaj,
I inserted the
znaczy
end, it
niezawodny.
remained...
Mówię wam, to jest przyrząd do wszystkiego. Oj, naszą kozę. Zaraz... To musimy szybko przestawić. Dobra, walnęła nas, ale się zaplątała. Gdybyśmy chcieli iść tutaj na dół, to by nas cały czas powalała koza. To jest właśnie nasz duch, który wydaje dziwne odgłosy. Ta koza wspaniała. Mówiłem, że szybko będzie. Zeszliśmy na dół. Posążek.
The statue was too heavy to lift. It
Tak. Teraz ją podniesiemy.
As I...
Wzorek się odbił. I wiemy teraz tak, tutaj tej mączki, czyli nie jak to się nazywa, że po użyciu z wodą to twardnieje. To jest zamek właśnie, od tego, żeby te drzwi otworzyć. A, tu jest. Nie, musimy tu popatrzeć, tak? Zmienili to w Director's Cut, bo normalnie na to się klikało. Nie było tutaj tego pokazane.
I sprinkled...
Okej. I teraz użyjemy naszej mokrej, która już nie jest mokra. O, jest. Teoretycznie
Trickle of
powinna,
water was
się
quickly
drugi raz.
absorbed by
Po
the
użyciu powinna
plaster.
wyschnąć.
I eased the
Okay.
solid piece of plaster from
Mamy.
the sand. Underneath, it had formed a...
Idealnie, bo tego tu nie podniesiemy, nie? Ale już mamy zameczek, który by tu otworzył.
The hardened plaster cast
Jeżeli-
fitted snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud, then silence.
No właśnie. I idziemy w podziemia zamku. Poszlibyście, tak? Sami? Montfaucon. Tak to się chyba wymawia. Wracamy do Paryża. O, gramy Niko. Ale co z nią musimy zrobić? Bo ja w ogóle wątku Niko nie znam. Więc dlatego to będę robić w większości na czuję. Z George'em znam, tak? O, coś mamy nagrane, widzę.
I had messages waiting to be played.
You have 3 messages.
Hey, Collard, it's me, your favorite editor. Guess what? I'm gonna give you a second chance. I need somebody to write the TV column. Pays lousy, so what's new? If you're interested, drop by the office. In fact, drop by the office anyway. We have to talk, Nico. That story of yours I spiked. It won't go away. You've made some dangerous enemies out there.
Hey, Nico, it's your old pal. I mean, your new pal, George. Whoa, Ireland. It's a whole different country. And I got some amazing news for you. Gem of a story, in fact. Oh, gotta go. Yeah, fella here's got a drink lined up for me. See you tomorrow, Nico. Slonsha. Yep, only here for a day and I'm speaking the lingo
O,
like
czyli
a
pije.
local.
George,
Mademoiselle
równo.
Coulard, this is Imelda Carshon. I wanted to thank you for being so understanding when... Come to lunch, why don't you? Tomorrow. I might have more news.
Już wiem, gdzie
There's a
idziemy.
Monsieur Merlon coming to see me this evening. He says he knows why Pierre was murdered. In fact, he'll be here shortly. I shall let you know what he says.
Aha,
Goodbye, dear girl.
Marlene.
Till tomorrow.
czyli nasz Kan.
My God. When it came to being two-faced, I owed her nothing.
No to wiemy, gdzie iść chyba. Niko sama tam pójdzie.
I arrived to find the Palais
Oh,
Royal
właśnie.
courtyard deserted. I only hoped
Tak,
that
nie ma
I had to
strażnika.
walk.
Trzeba to podkręcać, chyba. Bo wtedy był strażnik, pamiętacie? Żeby tego nie tykać i to jest bardzo chwiejne.
I unhooked
O,
the
właśnie.
first.
I długo. I będziemy mieć drabinkę, żeby wejść pewnie przez to stłuczone, bo drzwi zapewne są zamknięte. A, za dobry jestem momentami. Ja
I
czasami
released
potrafię
the
popchnąć
even
na
with
bardzo
both
długo.
wires.
I popchnąć. I jebut.
If I could deconstruct.
No, idziemy. Cicho, nie wchodzi.
The plastic sheet.
Mamy jakiś nożyk?
No.
Czym to możemy? O, tym. Nabojem. A, folią zakleili. Nie ma ciała. Kana tu nie będzie, na pewno jest w Irlandii, tak.
My God, I'm too late.
Aha. Nie, przecież był tu Merlin, że się chce spotkać.
Oh no.
Czyli szybko wrócił.
Nico? Don't worry, you're going to be alright. You know that isn't true. It was Merlin, wasn't it?
dressed as a cavalier.
A dostała kulkę.
Absurd. You came to warn me, didn't you?
I must be crazy.
Let me see you, Nicole.
All this time you were just using me. Which one is the real Imelda?
You are an extraordinary girl. Thierry would have been so proud of you.
You didn't know my father.
So like him. Something about the eyes. I wish we'd had time to get to know each other.
Pewnie się nim kochała
She
jeszcze.
was gone.
I umarła. I zaraz przyjdzie
She
policja,
cheated
czy nie?
me, lied to me, used me. But why? Even in death, Imelda looked the same. Beautiful, inscrutable. The Ice Queen alone in her ice palace. I opened it. Inside was a tiny gold key.
Do szkatułki, którą mamy w
I
skrzyni
took
pewnie,
the key.
tak?
I had to leave.
Dobrze. Weźmiemy skrzynię. Tą kuferek otworzymy, zobaczymy co w nim jest. Znaczy myślę, że otwieram ten kuferek, bo nie mieliśmy klucza do tego kuferka małego, pamiętacie?
In the dim light, a small... It was a... Oh, chère cousine. You left me...
Kuzyn coś jej zostawił? A, jakąś figurkę przestawił.
You don't scare me. Espèce de...
No szybciej, Niko, nie mamy całego dnia. No.
The box was... The elephant...
Jest nasz kluczyk. Hej,
I took out the key.
źle kliknąłem. O,
I couldn't believe it. Imelda's key opened my father's box. I dreaded what I was going to find inside.
o, druga część zdjęcia.
It was a photograph of Imelda. But
Trzy.
why here? In my father's
Tatuś,
box.
Imelda i...
I felt as if a
Carchon.
black hole had swallowed me up. Imelda and Carchon grinning. While behind them a village was being razed to the ground. Its people butchered. And there, next to them, staring out at me across the years, my own father.
No,
There was a letter.
idealne małżeństwo,
I feared there was even worse to come.
tak? Aha. Przeczytajmy list.
Hotel Saint-Georges, Algiers, Friday. My darling Thierry, by the time you read this, you'll be safely out of Africa. You need not fear. Pierre and the organization do not know who you are really working for, or about us. Did you think I would betray you? I could not. You wanted me to leave him, but I don't have your courage. I know too much of what has been going on here. They would find me and they would kill us both. Enjoy your life in Paris, Thierry. Your life of honor, of patriotic duty. Do they give medals to spies? No. They'll just give you a funny job in an embassy somewhere. I could never share that with you. Imagine me, a diplomat's wife. So I must stay here with Pierre, the two of us bound together by what we have done to this country. Au revoir, my love. You will be in my heart until I die. Imelda. Suddenly everything made sense. My father had been working undercover for the government. He was one of the good guys after all. He and Imelda must have fallen in love. She'd found out who he really was, so he had to leave. It had broken her heart, but she had never revealed it to anyone. I knew I couldn't either. Whatever he was doing, he'd had good reason to keep it secret. I decided I would respect that and tell nobody.
O, ale George'owi pewnie nie powie. I co, koniec wątku z Niko? Jesteśmy George'em, który wraca do Paryża. Ten to ma wakacje, nie? Pojechał do Paryża, zwiedził już Irlandię przy okazji. O, właśnie. I George padnie.
I knew it was George. For a moment I was tempted to pretend that I was out, or ask him to go away and come back later. But then... Come in.
Hello, George.
A już inny głos, innej jakości, nie? Ze starej wersji.
So, where did you stay last night?
At McDevitt's. I got to drinking with Doyle and a couple of the guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Not much. I had to share the room with another guy.
Did he snore?
Hardly. He was dead. Then Leary woke me in the middle of the night to help bail out the cellar.
The cellar was flooded?
Yeah, some idiot had left the faucet running.
And you say Pigram has disappeared?
Without a trace. But my visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Aha.
Pigram's gem?
The Templars' gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
He's the guy who should have collected the gem from Fitzgerald.
What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man. Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Dobrze. Hanged man.
The night through my... But the reflect... There's a guy working on a loom. There's a... Between...
Nie, to wszystko chyba.
What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
Dobrze.
I can't sit here all day,
Wszystko, nie?
much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobinot at the Kron Museum. And why don't you see if
Lobinot
Otto has
można
heard
powie.
anything?
Okay. Anything else I can... Shopping, a trip to the...
Just take...
Idziemy do Andre. Historyk będzie wiedzieć, gdzie wieszali.
I so much wanted to
Prawdopodobnie
talk to George
Templariusze,
about
tak.
everything that had happened, but I knew I never could. My father's connection to Africa would have to remain a secret forever. His bravery would be known only to the government and to me. Revealing it would just damage his memory. People would take the story and twist it. Before long, he would be the villain and Carchon would be the hero. I know how they do that. I'm a journalist.
Pardon me?
Oui, monsieur?
Do you know anything about the...
No, sir.
The sign on the tripods?
It does?
Yeah.
Most...
You don't know...
No, I don't. I owe what it was. It taught me the alphabet. The bottom row of the chart was...
Why don't you start over and then...
You know, do you think? If I studied art...
At your age? Do you know anything about...
Not me. It is...
Marzenie.
They ask... Where... Of course
Już
not.
o tym gadaliśmy.
Can you give me...
Pamiętam.
Certainly, miss. That
Przelecę to
tripod...
szybko.
What's the importance of John D...
Dee was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century. The Houdini of...
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs.
Well, whatever it was, that is the...
What kind of experiment?
Oh, is it you?
Yeah. Can I take a closer...
What? That tripod is protected...
How
painfully...
How is the...
By the slightest pressure on or movement of any part of the case where...
It strikes me that to call your alarm system...
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in...
Thanks.
Dobra. To musimy pójść do naszego... hotelu, bo już nie możemy. I posterunek policji. O, nie ma inspektora. Gdzieś wybył.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
Have you heard of a man called Marquet?
Yes.
O właśnie.
He used to be known as the Mole of Montmartre. I heard he's been hospitalized, probably by one of his rivals.
Oho.
Which hospital was Marquet taken to?
The Hagenmeyer Clinic. In the avenue des Hérissons.
Why was Marquet known as the Mole of Montmartre?
Because he lived in Montmartre, I suppose.
Yeah, but why the mole?
I don't know. Maybe he ruined people's lives.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? I see.
Outside the hotel. They stopped.
Could you describe?
One looked like their names are...
Bon.
See you later, Sergeant.
O, to jest szpital.